guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been literally like a month. I literally just started YouTube and I still don't even know what I'm doing. It's just like a bit crazy, but hey, just wanted to make a video on the course I did to get into uni. Oh my god, I got into a Russel Group, which I'm so excited for, and it's like sick, but it's just gonna be so hard. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about my experience doing the course that I did. And yeah, I wanted to make this video for so long, but you know when you just like keep prepping for something, you keep planning. I like over planned it so much, this video. I've like filmed it so many times and like I've never got it right. So I just thought I'd actually make the video finally, because it just took so long to do. But yeah, is this even the right thing? I got my result. I got my results, woo! So yeah, I literally got them through finally. Yeah, let's just actually get into the video of me like explaining the whole experience I had, and yeah, what is an access course? So I did a access to business higher education course. That was the one I did. An access course is a qualification that's level 3. So for example, other qualifications that are level 3 are A-levels, level 3 BTECs, there's some other ones out there, but that's basically what it's on par with. So it's basically just a level 3 qualification that can get you into university, and it only takes a year to do as well. So with A-levels, obviously they take like 2 years, but with access, you just do it in one single year. And then who can do an access course? An access course is majority for people. Basically, an access course is more for people who are a mature adult, basically. So someone who is probably in their mid-20s, 30, 40, or even 50. That's what access courses are more geared for. So usually the traditional route is GCSEs, A-levels and uni, but access is basically for people who are a bit older now and they can't just go back to school and just like be in a class with like 16 to 18 year olds doing A-levels. They just need qualifications to go to uni, and an access course is that qualification to actually get them to uni. So majority of people who actually do an access course are traditionally like a lot older. Typically with a lot of institutions you have to be at least 19 to do an access course, but for my institution, woo, we only have to be 17 turning 18. I'm actually 19 though, so like I'm usually like the youngest you would do an access course at. Typically it's just more for majority old people who just want to go to uni but don't have the qualifications or facilities to do that. So now I'm going to go into like how you're graded on an access course. Like you're probably thinking, oh, it's like doing A-levels but in 1 year, but that's simply what it is, but it's not actually how it works. Because with A-levels, usually you'll do exams or like a tiny bit of course after a 2-year period. But with an access course, I think the best kind of explanation of what it is, it tries to emulate the first year of uni. You know, at university you have essays, or you have to have one question, you write 2,500 words on it, you have presentations, you have academic posters, you have reports, portfolios. That's what you do on access. And you know, with uni you have like assignments throughout the year. That's what access is like. You basically have assignments throughout the entire period of September all the way to June. And even though I keep saying it's a year course, it's actually 9 months. It's like having a baby, but instead of giving birth, like you're just giving birth to grades, really. But yeah, every assignment you do is graded. So, you know, normal school, you'll just do like an assessment and you just like, you know, do it in the class for like an hour, you hand it in and the teacher would mark it. With access, the assignments you do matter, like they literally have a weighted grade to them. Basically, I keep trying to explain how it's graded, but I can't really explain it very well, so I'm just gonna like write it down. Sorry about my handwriting because it's literally terrible, but let's say that this is the access course, right? And in an access course, it has 60 graded credits. Like the entire access course has 60 credits in it, and it's broken down into 2. So on this side you have 15 credits that are ungraded, right? Is that how you spell it? Probably. So it's separated like with ungraded credits, and then 45 graded credits, and that's the separation. There's 15 ungraded credits, basically means that you cannot be given a grade, you can't be given an A, you can't be given a distinction, a merit. You basically only pass or fail. That's all they are made up of. These 45 graded credits are what unis will give you in terms of offers. So you might be given distinction 45, which is the highest grade you can get. You might also have D30, M15, P45. That's where like the grades lie. This is never really talked about, but it still is a part of the entire access course, so you still need to actually pass all your ungraded credits. If you don't, you can therefore not pass the whole course. For my access course, I'll probably put like a breakdown of the other access courses on like editing or something so you can like see. But for me, I had business and law. Even though the access course was called access to business, I did have a third of my course filled of law credits. So for law you had 15 graded credits, and then for business you had 30 graded credits. Within that you had units basically within business and within law. And so I'm going to try and like explain how a assignment works and how you're graded within that assignment. So let's talk about the ethics unit I had in business. So with ethics you had 3 assignments. So we'll have E1, E2, and E3. So you would have 3 assignments in that. Whoa. You would have 3 assignments in that. And the actual overall value of the ethics unit was 6 credits, basically. And to get to this value of 6 credits, you would have to do these assignments. Each assignment would have 3 grade descriptors. They would either be pass, merit, or distinction, depending on how your teacher would assess you. So in this unit, it was actually really, really simple. It was just like 3 essays that you had to do. And a teacher might give you, I don't know, let's say DDM, DDM. You know, they might give you that. And you're thinking, oh, okay, so I got 3 Ds and 3 Ms, therefore I'll get, you know, 3 distinctions and 3 merits. That is not how it works. Basically, you need to have a solid 6 credit value, and that has to be either a merit, pass, or distinction. And you're like, well, how do you get it from there? And you might think, oh, majority distinctions, therefore I have distinctions. That's kind of how it works. So there's a midpoint system in Access. So you'll have, let's put all your Ds together, you know, I love that. And what happens is you try to find the midpoint to get the value of the overall credit. So even though you have assignments in there and you have grade descriptors that determine the value of the assignments, you need to get back to the value of the overall credit. So that means you need to do some maths and basically just look through this and find the midpoint. So there is 9. Oh my god, I actually have to do maths now. So the midpoint would be here because there's 4 here, and the midpoint, as you can see, is at distinction. Even though there are merits, it is at distinction. And that's how a grade is found. Hi guys, I'm so sorry. So I'm just in editing and just looking back at this, and I just noticed I forgot to put another M in it, but the concept is still the same. So even though there'd be an extra M on the end, the overall grade would be distinction for that ethics unit. For the overall credit. And this 6 would make up this 30 in business, and that would just keep happening every single assignment. So for example, for our intro to business unit, we'd have to use the system. For our contract law unit, the system would be used. For every single assignment you do, a midpoint has to be found. And you're probably thinking, well, what if there's a midpoint that isn't clear? Let's hopefully like explain the whole situation with how the access course is graded. It was so complicated, like trying to explain it. I tried to literally film myself explaining how everything works, but I had to just use my whiteboard to just go through the whole system because it is really confusing. It can sound really, really contrived, and I should have done that last. So now the camera angle is different. But you know, we love all different angles. I mean, let's not do a side angle because I have a big batty face. But yeah, I think that has explained how the grading system works, and you probably heard me talk about grade descriptors. What the fuck is that? Like, what is an example of a grade descriptor? You probably don't care, but I'm just gonna like read you out what a grade descriptor could be called, because you're thinking, oh, okay, what is a grade descriptor then? It's basically just these sections that a lecturer looks at to assess your work at. So basically they'll read this and then put it against your work to see if it matches a merit of that descriptor, a distinction of that descriptor, like that. So for example, For ethics, the 3 grade descriptors were 1C, 2 and 7B. So for 1C, the grade descriptor is, the student's work demonstrates an excellent understanding of the different perspectives and approaches associated with the area of study. That's one of the grade descriptors. Another one, the student's work makes use of relevant perspectives with both breadth and depth. So that's like another one. And then the grade descriptor 7. So I was going to show it on the board, but I'm just going to say because this isn't that complicated. You saw I talked about the midpoint, and that's how a grade is found. You know, the majority of your grades are here, and then the midpoint has to be found. So the slap bang in the middle of your overall assignment grade descriptors in a certain unit make your grade for the overall credits of that unit. So let's say you got 3 merits and 3 distinctions. Midpoint comes in and you're thinking, right, where's the midpoint then? Because it doesn't land on a grade. You know, it's in between 3 exact merits and 3 exact distinctions. So what grade am I going to be given? And this is like an issue that obviously you might run into and stuff, but how that problem is solved is through typically the grade descriptor 7, especially for our exam provider. Basically, you know, with like maths and history and like all those like subjects, you have like exam boards, so you have AQA, OCR and Excel. You have that with Access as well. So mine was AIM Awards. So like they have their own system, but every Access course is different. Also, Access courses are typically done in England and Wales. I don't really think they're done in Scotland, but I heard they've done in Northern Ireland. I don't really know how the system works, but I did my like Access course under AIM Awards, so everyone will be different. But with AIM Awards, basically they say if a teacher looks at your work and the grade descriptor 7 is met, usually they'll like go on that side of it. So let's say, you know, going back to the whole situation of 3 merits, 3 distinctions, if those 3 distinctions were grade descriptor 7, then the teacher's going to give you distinction overall, because that's a really hard grade descriptor to get. Meanwhile, like the grade descriptor 1 or 2, they're really easy to get. Even though there's only 3 grade descriptors, they're given like the value 7, and so like design grade descriptors are called descriptor 5. It sounds really complicated, but don't worry about it. For example, this grade descriptor 7 is, the student's work puts forward arguments or ideas which are consistently unambiguous and cogent. So yeah, it does sound really complicated, but kind of what that means is like overall, typically with grade descriptors, the assignment you've done is just peng. So the introduction is sick, the main body is sick, the conclusion is sick, the references are really, really good. You've just got a lot of info in there that really just shows that overall this thing is distinction. Because, I don't know, you have some good sections that are distinction, or this section could also be distinction, but overall, it's more of a merit. You know, that's where you want to make sure that all your grade descriptors are distinctions, because if you got to that point where, you know, you had half merits, half distinctions, if the grade descriptors you've got are merits for grade descriptor 7, you're going to be given merits, even though you got distinctions. So the midpoint system's quite good, you must think, like, oh yeah, it's all good, because like in the middle, you know, your middle grade, you get that. But you know, it can mess people over if you get like the exact grade descriptors, you know, equal, but then you don't have it in those really harsh grade descriptors like 7. But yeah, that's kind of gone a bit complex. I've probably gone into that a lot, but I just wanted to like explain the whole system, because I think it's, people don't really get how it works, so I just thought I'd let you know. I've obviously gone into a lot of stuff about the Access course, you know, how it's graded, how that works. Obviously the Access course, like I've said multiple times now, it was access to business. 2/3 of my course were business, but the 1/3 was law. So they were basically the most subjects I studied. So let's say for A-levels you did like, I don't know, biology, chemistry, and then maths. Like, you know, they were your 3 subjects. In Access they were my 2 subjects. But with other Access courses, like humanities and social sciences have multiple subjects that they look through and stuff. So that's another thing to remember. I haven't gone into study skills. So as you saw when I explained how the grades work and the grade system works the best that I could, okay? You study this subject called study skills. What you do in that is, it's like a subject, like, you know, you turn up to class, you know, you have lessons, just like any normal subject, but the assignments you do are pass and fail. So the type of assignments you did for business and law would be like reports, write about ethical things that go on in the world, you know, but with study skills it's like, write a personal statement, make a poster about plagiarism. That's kind of just more the stuff that gets you ready for uni. That's what the assignments are like for study skills. Another one was like an action plan. Study skills is usually typically quite easy. The first few assignments, they're really just really simple to do. You know, they're just, if they're ungraded, they're not gonna need that oomph to them. You know, you need that detail and breadth and depth in your actual graded assignments, but with ungraded you just need to like meet the mark. But that was something else you did, because the access course isn't just the key to get you into uni, it's also giving you like the experience of what's on the other side of that door. So with A levels you just like, you know, get the grades to get in, but with an access course that actually gives you not experience but like skills you might need, to understanding how plagiarism works and copyright and how to be organised, making sure you have your personal statement all sorted, and you know what career you want to do and how the access course is going to benefit you, because that was another one where like you had to talk about how the access course was going to benefit your career, but you only had to write like 500 to 250 words on that, whilst on like your other assignments you have to write 3,000 to 250 words. So it's a lot different, but that was just another element to the course that I wasn't going to go into, but I just thought I'd like throw that in there. Let's go into the difficulty of the access course. What I think is like really hard with an access course is the intensity. As I've said, it's a course that is done in 9 months. A levels are done in like 2 years, and same with BTECs. So it's all that knowledge that needs to be squeezed into 1 year, so it can be really intense because you'll have assignments probably like every week and you're trying to make sure you're getting those grades and stuff. In my opinion, anyone can pass an access course. I literally believe that, not because an access course is easy, but because it's built around life. With A levels and stuff like that, you're going to school or college like every day, not 5 days a week. But with access, you only go in like 3 days a week. You only have about 14 contact hours. Like I went in for Monday, Wednesday, and Thursdays and stuff. But even though you just go to college and like you study and learn about it and stuff, or your concepts in that, there's 14 hours at college, you know, doing that, but then there's 14 hours that you have to spend at like home or more on the assignments, because with access it's about making assignments, which means you have to research, reference, study all these concepts and stuff that you've never learned before. But I think like an access course is so easy to manage and it is really easy to handle, but sometimes you just need to remember when you do an access course that it is really intense sometimes and it is going to take a lot of your time. But it's so worth it, because now I'm literally going to a Russel Group Uni. So I'm so excited for that. I'm literally starting in September and I want to make more videos explaining what it's like to be at uni with the whole pandemic. And, you know, the difference between an access course but actually being first year at uni and, you know, all that stuff. And I really want to make more videos and stuff like that. I just thought I'd make this video to kind of explain what an access course is like, and maybe you might think of doing one. And I would just say to anyone, if you're thinking of doing it, just do it, because it is actually amazing. It literally helped me out so much, because if I didn't have this course, I wouldn't be going to uni. So that's just a big thing. Let's just also go into the pandemic kind of vibe. So you're thinking, oh, okay, well, there was a pandemic while you did your access course, so how did that work? I did 3/4 of my course. So with access, we did still do a lot of the assessments and stuff. With A levels, obviously you have exams right at the end. So people like weren't able to do them, but with access, every assignment you do is graded. The ones you do in September all the way to June, you're always being assessed and graded with those assignments. They all have a value to them. Like I was going into with those grade descriptors and stuff I was talking about. For business, you had 17 assignments. For law, you had like 7 assignments. And then study skills, you had 11 assignments. And they're stretched out for the whole year. What happened was we did about 3/4 of the course. So we did all the assignments from September all the way to the end of March. But then obviously college got closed, and then our exam board came out with information saying that all assignments that were done after the 20th of March are not going to be graded. So they're basically going to be made void, and all the assignments you've already done are going to be used to calculate the last quarter we had left in our course. So I didn't get to do the last quarter of my access course. But I'm like, well, I literally did a whole 3/4 of it, so I still did loads of it and stuff, and I worked so hard, and obviously I wouldn't have got a predicted quarter grade at the end if it wasn't for the hard work and if I put into 3/4 of the course that actually got done. That's kind of how it works and stuff with that, because obviously with A levels the whole thing's kind of calculated, but with access only that quarter was. Yeah, I also want to make another video on access. I want to kind of do a tips video. If you think I should do one, like put it down below, or me to like go into the tips of how to do video on access, explaining like some of my assignments and what they were like doing them, and some example questions, because I got D45, which is 45 distinctions. So that's the highest grade you can get on access. Basically all distinctions across the board, which I'm so happy about. And my offer as well from my uni was D39M6. So I basically had to get all distinctions except 6. I could have only got like 6 merits and that was it. So I'm really, really happy with that. So I had to literally work so hard to get the grades. But I just thought I'd like kind of explain what an access course is like. You know, I don't know if I've done a good job, but I want to make a part 2 and say like, you know, tips and tricks of how to do well on an access course if people want it. But like, I hope you enjoyed the video. And you stick around for more. It'd be really great like if you could subscribe if you learned something new from this video. I'm also going to link down so many other resources about access if you actually are thinking of doing an access course, or you maybe got messed over by results day, or you're looking for, you know, different grades, or you know you still want to go uni but A levels are just not going to help you out, or BTECs just aren't for you. I would highly recommend doing an access course. But disclaimer though, my college was also really good though.
Here's the motherfucking tea
for access. Like, they were sick. The access department at my college was really good, I'm not gonna lie. Like, if there was an issue, I would say it was actually sick. You know, some places that do access might not be amazing, it depends. With me, like, my teachers were moderators for other access colleges, so they would go to other colleges and make sure they're following the standards. So when they obviously would come back to our college, they made sure that they were following the standards because they expected from other colleges. So our teaching was really, really sick. My college, so everywhere's different for access course. I'm not saying that like, oh, if you went into an access course, it's going to be perfect and amazing, but I think the qualification is just so great, and it just really helped me because I would not be going to uni, especially not a Russel Group Uni, if it wasn't for my course. I'm so happy about that. That's all I've really got to say for this video. As I've said, I'm going to link down so many resources below about other people who've done an access course and stuff like that if you want to learn more about it. I just really, really want to make this video for so long, and I hope I like help shed light on things. Maybe you might consider it, but I think it's a really, really sick course, and I've been able to go to uni because of it. So I'm really, really happy that I get to have a new chapter in my life now, because if it wasn't for access, I wouldn't be able to have gone through with that chapter. I would have literally just been doing nothing. So I'm so happy about that. So yeah, if you've got any questions, just throw it down in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.